fourth fight on our UFC Montevideo card from Uruguay. And this is a really tricky one to try and predict because you've got a Uruguayan making his UFC debut in Luiz Eduardo Garagorri, taking on the Peruvian Humberto Bandenay. And the reason why I say this, maybe on another card, Matt, this is one of those matchups that gets kind of lost in the shuffle, but we have an interesting debut in Garagorri. I mean, he's 30 years old. He's 11-0. Some sites have him as 12-0. UFC, among others, 11-0. 4 wins by knockout, 5 by submission.
And he fought the best, didn't he, Craig?
All but one of his 10 wins, or finishes rather, came in the first round. One of them in the third. Since he made his debut in 2015, so he's been fairly active. He's getting a lot of finishes. But then you look at his last 2 fights, and they were against guys who were making their pro MMA debuts. And that looks bad in a lot of different ways. You look at the last episode of Dana White's Looking for a Fight when they go to a Titan FC card in the United States, and they say, hey, one of these guys is being set up as, you know, a fight where they're really making this guy look good so he can make his UFC debut, which, of course, they've done here. And I understand, you know, the rationale. You've got a guy who's undefeated, fighting at home, making his debut. But what do you make of his chances against Humberto Bandenay, a guy who's kind of been there and done that? He's only had 3 UFC fights, but he's looked good against decent competition.
The thing that I'm most worried about is your UFC debut is at home, and the nerves are already there for you to start in the UFC anyways. You know, the octagon jitters, it's a very real thing. A lot of fighters have talked about it before, and especially for you being in your hometown. Like, the added pressure, all the people calling you, asking for tickets, asking for everything. It's so much pressure to go into. And I mean, Bandenay's definitely not the best of the best in the UFC, like we kind of mentioned, but he definitely has had way more experience and high-level experience at that. So just for those reasons alone, I really do think Bandenay's going to be able to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, Bandenay's 0-2 in his last 2, but he was on a 6-fight win streak, had that crazy knockout win over Martin Bravo in 26 seconds. And listen, the odds are plus 108 average on Bandenay, minus 133 on Garagorri. Who are you taking? You're taking Bandenay.
I'm taking Bandenay, yep, by decision.
Also taking Bandenay by decision. Looking forward to this fight because you never really know what to expect.
Exactly.
And that's why you should check out our UFC Montevideo picks here. Fight Night picks, Matt. Let's get into it.